Yo, this Kanye situation has it made sisters look bad, right? It was a bad look for y'all because even after you recognize that the casting call was worded incorrectly, it was Kanye's fail for the way he worded it. That's all on him. But even after the fact, none of these, the group, Black Voices, Black AOL Voices, Twitter Shea Butterfinger chicks, none of them, corrected the situation. They doubled down. They went ham. There were darker skinned sisters there. The fail on his part was an attempt to word it in a way that a whole bunch of Beckys wouldn't show up. But that's not the point though. But it is interesting watching what's going on. It just seemed like ever since this Nate Parker situation, every week there's an article just basically what's going on Twitter and social media. It's pretty much what Tommy does, but in reverse. They're taking stories of black men doing this, doing that, and say, you know, we deserve to say no because one brother killed a chick that apparently she tried to talk to him and turned him down, or because some people didn't like a picture that went viral of a dude with his dad that was kind of, they were real close. So now we got to talk about toxic masculinity, which women have no point, no place in talking about masculinity about men. But I just think it's interesting that just like it's been since the Nate Parker situation, things has just been going double down. Like just every day, they on there with the Twitter fingers, and then regular chicks that's not involved in that space is sharing it, and they be going in. But I don't know if I said that because I recorded the part that's coming after this first already, and I did the video like 3 times because I did the video actually the day of the casting call, but there was more information, so I redid it. But basically, I'm saying that the theme, even if you don't get it in what I'm about to say in the next segment, is if we're saying that black men who have non-black wives can't demand support from sisters, which is their choice and their right to do so, then what is the point of them contributing at all? If you can't decompartmentalize and say, well, you know what, he has done this or X, Y, Z, and this one time he might want something, because obviously as men we know women are going to complain for no matter what you do, even if you're doing it right, doing the right thing, getting it done, they're going to complain. So that's not the issue. But my point is if, because it's not unanimous, it's different folks with different things, but one thing I did see on Black YouTube was that sisters have a right to say we don't want to watch Birth of a Nation just because of the white wife thing, or and then what happened with Kanye, that brought up all that back stuff up too, even though he's been with her for years and they got 2 kids now. I don't know, but the point I did relay is that I think sisters, especially with this Kanye situation where they showed their hand, and it did come off making them look real secure because of the fact that even after they found out that it wasn't that he was just picking mixed chicks, they didn't apologize. They didn't say, you know what, we were wrong, my bad. No, it just doubled down. And a lot of brothers who, they see the reaction, they see how every situation that happens with black men right now, whether music wise, who they marry, athletics, all that, is like y'all sitting there with pitchforks to go in on brothers. And I'm saying there's a flip side to that argument, because black men are going to eventually feel like, yo, damn, we got to start supporting each other, because it's looking like we don't have their support. We have their support when we do things on their terms. When we don't, we do not have y'all support. That's how simple it is. But I'm gonna talk in this segment more about, I trolled a little bit, but I tried to make the point that since y'all telling brothers that pretty much, if y'all telling brothers that they can't expect sister support, which is what it is, then you might see more of what Kanye didn't even intend to do. You might see this multicultural, biracial utopia being created by black men who have non-black wives, because there's no guarantee that you're going to support their work. That's just something to think about. It's a flip side to both sides of the situation. Oh shit, my dog's damn barking. And when we saw that in dealing with the Nate Parker situation and how the white wife thing is the issue, his attacks were not just that, but it was mostly first the first it was the white wife thing was just lightweight. You can't be pro-black. What does that mean? Like, is he trying to be pro-black, or is he trying to make a film to honor and pay respect and pay homage to a historical figure? That's important in black history, and to combat the other 50 million just been over take it slave movies as like, no, we fought back a couple times. We didn't just bend over. You know what I mean? So there is a significance to that, and I guess I'm saying the fact that some sisters would sabotage that based on who he's banging, I think that's a little bit, immature and silly. And if we're establishing this notion that, black men who have non-black wives or girlfriends or whatnot, and these are men who are listening to these dialogues on TMI and Jason Black's page and even on Sarge's page on Facebook, and some of these men are like, well, what do you mean? They're trying to prove, or they're trying to one-drop rule stuff or whatever. What incentive is it for them to even want to contribute if there's a chance that they won't get support? For example, how, Cynthia G said that Nate Parker's a coon for not going with Byron Allen, even though we all, we say, like, why not go with Byron Allen? We all feel that way. We don't know the ins and outs of the deal, what benefits, what perks came from taking less money, but going with our Fox Searchlight. We all feel that way, obviously, but we don't still know what was the reason why he went that route. But it's like, wait a minute, y'all saying that he should have went with him, but then y'all already said that we don't support black men with non-black wives. So it's like, that looked like a big ass setup to right there to me. Like, you're saying, let's get the black movie maker who's independent to take his film to the black, billionaire who's in distribution of movies, and let's keep all that in one big pot. And I'm like, so what? So y'all can sabotage it when y'all realize that Byron Allen's wife is white too? Like, come on, like I see you on there. But that's just my point, though. It's like, there's a trade-off to both sides. I think you're making it more difficult, or you're making it easier for, I guess, the brothers who do care, want to contribute, feel, even though we disagree, but they think they can have black children with not black women. Yes, Nate was good until if he just said that, she's raising black children. I'm like, oh, Nate, why you go there, brother? I'm trying to pull for you, man, but you went there and you just totally, man, you're doing too much now. But he allegedly said that in regards to the wife, his attack again, and that's like kind of the point of this whole Kanye thing, though. Is like, if these black men start saying, you know what, freak it, we can't get no love from black people because of who we lay with, then we might as well just focus on our own individual success, and we should, just simply, promote this biracial utopia over here, because black folks over there, they're focused more on who I'm banging. And I'm saying it this way, it's not like I'm not acknowledging how women personalize things and they take things personal that have nothing to do with them, even though 9 times with a chin, the brother that hop, y'all won't check it for him in the first place. Even some of y'all even admit that the reason why some of these brothers hop is because no sisters was into them. So it's like come on, like all that stuff is silly to me. That level, that the idea that you would sabotage something bigger. And then there's a situation with Kanye, how even Chrissy pointed out he's put Tina Taylor on, who I think is better seen than heard. Like, she's just another one of them Beyonce can't talk chicks. And Azalea Banks, who just blew her own career. That's her fault, but Kanye put both of them on. Or you can look at the situation how Kendrick Lamar, Pimp a Butterfly, Black of the Berry, did all that stuff and all that talking. Yes, I understand it's not a good look, but he married the chick he been with since high school, the mother of his kid, who happens to look, like she could be something else. But it's like, would y'all rather focus on who he married, or the fact that he put the other sister on, or he did a positive CD that was uplifting and stuff like that? Like, which is more important? And if sisters are saying and brothers are co-signing that the mate is the focal point, like I'm saying, you can say you disagree with that and says this is more important. I'm not denoting that you have these problems, feelings about seeing that, and it's how it's not a good look. But I'm also not silly enough to just totally throw something out with the bathwater because of one issue. And the sisters are doing that, which it does look like, which I was like, yo, y'all pushing away the men who are in the middle of the road. You're making the brothers who are already with Becky's and non-black women see like, well, damn, I might as well not even contribute because there's no guarantee that I will get support from my own people because of the choice of woman I'm with. But anyways, back to the Kanye situation. So I kind of trolled around on the usual suspect Facebook groups and the Rio, the Root, Black Voices, HuffPost, all these very leftist, liberal, poop on places for black feminist events, and they had their pitchforks ready to go at Kanye and attack him. And then one sister, she was going ham on him, and I'm just like, trying to converse with her because I'm like, trying to make a point that, what would be the issue with a black man who has a non-black wife and makes kids using his platform to promote that type of beauty? Because I'm saying like that might be happening more of if brothers are realizing that they can't, count on support from sisters. And we kind of went back and forth, and she was getting mad, and I kind of skipped one of her comments because I was going to say something stupid that would have really made her mad, but she used this excuse of, I'll even try to find it. She said black men have no problem with us dying in the street, marching in the street for them, and yada yada yada. And I'm like, well, first of all, you're not gonna hold me to a standard I didn't ask you to be in. I didn't ask you to go out in those streets for me, so you can't like hold that against me or any other brother if they ain't asked you to be there. In fact, it's not even a good look that you're out there in the first place. That y'all being out there in the streets protesting the marches is actually being used by the swirlers to say, see, black men got you out there in the streets, and it's not a good look. And the white boys, when you're trying to swirl, they don't want you to have that type of loyalty to black men. So, Simone 500-600 pounds, Crystalline Clares and Brooklyn Blue, they're using that as a recruitment tool to get the black women to open their options and get the swirl on. So don't hold that against me. But I ignore that part. But I'm like, trying to plead with her, like, you do realize he has put other black women on. You do realize he has had other. Yeah, none of that matters. It's just that over emotional knee jerk reaction thing that some folks want to say we should give power to as in a form of leadership. And like, how could you, if they operate like that and they're willing to sabotage things over taking things personal that aren't personal? Like, again, like, it's just, to me, it's just too much, right? Like, even brothers who are on their team, they go at them too. Chris Rock is monumental in the whole hair movement thing as far as natural hair. He contributed that with that documentary, whether you want to admit it or not. And a lot of sisters didn't like that documentary. They didn't like the movie. Even a sister tried to check him on Oprah when he was having a discussion, like, But, because he said a joke and he did that movie, which the joke was true about black women and acquiescing power and in a relationship, and, the whole bit he did about Michelle Obama and Barack, and, he's not the president, we the president thing, and hate bit he did. They all calling for boycotts for that. Even D.L. Hughley, who I'm not a fan of him either, said something, a joke about his relationship and his experience. Y'all calling for boycotts. Kevin Hart made one dark skin joke about a chick, calling for boycotts. It was like, telling jokes is their job, right? You know what I mean? Like, come on. Even brothers that, like, okay, Lamar, hell, who Dr. Boy stay taking shots at. He says he's my friend and my colleague and whatnot, but he probably the only other, black so-called intellectual that he will just go in on because of the whole, him being a black male feminist or identifying as that. But even he, who I don't co-sign because he's a leftist and I don't, share his ideology, but I'm like watching the interview when he used his platform to bring on Crystalline Craig, who I did not know that was her at the time. I didn't know it was her. And two other females to, like, because they were talking about how the white media was fetishizing Lupita, which we can clearly see was true, and because these sisters are so thirsty for a win, they didn't even want to break that down and deal with that. But again, y'all calling, you know, this is a brother on your team. This is a black male feminist. He will defend you over brothers. Like, he is on that, and yet y'all still went on him. So I'm saying that element, that 0 to 100 real quick, that just knee jerk reaction that y'all have to everything. Y'all be sitting around waiting for a brother to say something in a lyric, to say something in his comedy sketch, you know, to who he's married with. Y'all just be sitting there waiting to just go off. And I'm like, how do you deal with it? Like, how do you deal with a chick rather, that is on that? Like, you know, I was watching the one thing that was going viral last week, and you know, the Redskin player walked up and he dapped this girl up and gave her a kiss and whatnot, and you know, the fake little relationship goal thing. And I'm just thinking, like, some chicks looked at that and was like, that nigga had to get him a light skinned bitch. You know, it's like, who could deal with stuff like that? Like to me, that stuff, that Rashida Shober, the borderline Chrissy stuff, like, even though I understand the argument, when y'all go too far, I fall back. Because when it comes to the person's choice of mate, and this is my reasoning, y'all don't care why he hopped the fence. Y'all don't. All the argument is he's a coon, he's Uncle Tom, he's self-hate. Y'all never want to see why or acknowledge why he's over there in the first place. Even though, again, some of you already admit that the only reason why they're over there is because sisters wasn't really checking for them in the first place. So it's like, how can you use that against them when, you know, y'all weren't checking for them? But it's just 100%. I remember this one dude last week, he posted something about, he was trolling, he was talking about, like, the only way we're going to end white supremacy, and he had the picture of all those black dudes in high school. These are high school boys taking all the pictures to prom. That picture's from like 3-4 years ago now. And chick goes on a post, these are high school boys. These coons, these Uncle Toms, these sellouts, these, you know what I mean? I'm like, these are young ass dudes. What are you talking about? And she goes in on them, right? A very light skinned woman who brothers was questioning her, is she even black or mixed and whatnot? But, you know, fat girl too. And then she's just going in though. And then I respond, like, as opposed to what? The black women who hopped the fence to get with white men while having colorist issues or feeling inferior to mixed women, and then they have children with these non-black men and create the women who don't look like them. And of course, every single chick who's not black with a black man liked my comment. But then she writes this long ass paragraph. I didn't read half of it. You know, it's like a book, just going in and personal attacks because I just said what I said. Because she was going with the whole coon and Uncle Tom and sellout thing and brainwash stuff. And I'm like, well, what about black women who are hopping? Then another chick comes on and they co-sign her tag team, and she's, y'all niggas is just on this and on that. Same thing that's being said about Kanye right now on all the little blogs, you know. And I was going to respond. I'm like, it's a waste of time. They're truly hurt and bitter, so I'm going to just let them marinate in it. But it's just like, damn. And then the one chick, because she responded to me, the one she tag teamed in the conversation, talking about, and it's this thing I noticed for years now, even for women who don't co-sign interracial relationships, they find a way to justify black women hopping, but demonize black men for doing it. They find a way to say, well, you know, if y'all all coons and y'all all brainwashed, which the data does not support that. Okay, you know, we have no choice but to hop. The planet is what, 85% melanated? The planet. And you're saying you have to hop because there's not enough black men available? Like, get the freak out of here with that nonsense. But it seems even Diamond Radio, a little chick who does blog talk conversation, she's annoying as ish, but she even does that. She hates interracial relations, talks about it for hours on Blog On In for black men who hop. But then we'll still find a way, even though she doesn't co-sign it, to kind of like, well, I understand why sisters do it though. And we have no choice to go over there. Even the biggest one, what's that dude name? Cynthia G. You know, she goes ham, and she even says, well, I can see black women doing it because they do benefit from being over there. Well, she makes this weird backwards argument about black men not benefiting from being over there, but why would they benefit from being with the woman? Shouldn't the woman benefit from the man? But I don't know. That was just, she does that. I don't understand that. But anyways, I was talking to the one sister about this whole Kanye thing, trying to plead with her, go back and forth and whatnot. And um, she, I don't know if she was getting mad. She's usually cool and we can converse, but she just kept going to the whole we not supporting him and I'm not putting my money with him and all this other crazy stuff. And I'm like, trying to make the point, like, are you really gonna have that type of knee jerk reaction? Are you really going to let this one situation, even if it played, even though we know now that it wasn't even meant to be like that. And even when I put that information, I put pictures of the other models who did make it. I put their pictures. She's like, and what does she say? I'll just read it right now. She says, I honestly don't care. This is after me putting a really, really dark skinned chick who was one of the models in his casting call. She goes, I don't care. I'm still maintaining my original point. Boycott with your money, not with your personal, not with your person. Please let it go. I don't even understand what she was saying. But one of the chicks on her post, and I was responding to her, but she didn't respond back to me. She goes, amen. Some of these artists and NBA players get me. As soon as they get some money, I don't remember what Chris Rock said, not when we get money, before. I wanted to say that, but I didn't. But she goes, y'all run to anybody but a sister. Little do they know, these chicks are running and are trained to be gold diggers as soon as they are fresh out of the womb. And then she responds, I look at it this way, you can openly reject us, and I openly reject you with my money and my support. Win-win. And I'm saying, all this is just from a casting call. And then there's the brothers on here. There's brothers commenting, talking about, fuck Kanye, this, that, he's disrespectful. And I'm saying, you're saying it's disrespectful that he's promoting the beauty of the type of woman he has created and he is married to. That's disrespectful to black women. Just sink that in. But then this one dude goes, well, I was about to spend $600 on some Yeezy boots, but because he did this, I'm not. Like, really, dog? Really, bruh? The thirst is really real right there, dog. You really on that. You was about to buy the boots after all the antics Kanye's been involved with and all his reputation is, but this casting call made you go to the other side to keep your $600 on some ugly ass boots. Alright, though. That thirst is real right there. He's like those black dudes who be in the comment sections like, yeah, forget them coons who be hopping the fence, ain't nothing like a black woman. I love black women. Like, how many, are you married? Do you have a black woman? No, he's just single. Yeah, he's just, loving his, the more for me attitudes. I mean, silly stuff, but I don't take brothers like that serious. But I do want to talk about something else because it goes right with this. I don't know if anybody's watching the show yet. I don't know if I'll be able to put the clip on here because YouTube is really good now at getting off your copyrighted material. But it's a show called, I'll just talk about that in the next segment.